Welcome to another episode of the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing. This week, the Secretary of Tourism and Transportation, Tracy Davidson Celestin, and the Assistant Secretary of Infrastructure and Public Utilities, Handel Beckles, addressed the media.
Mine will be a briefing of the activities of the Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities for fiscal 2016, the period of October 1st, 2015 to the 30th of September 2016. We're looking at the expenditure at first. As at September 30th, 2016, the Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities incurred expenditure totaling $201 million on its development program, and some of the projects as follows. We were involved in the drainage and irrigation program, and we spent $9.28 million. Roads and bridges, 144.513. Electricity program, 1.29. Public buildings program, which includes the Shore Park Cultural Complex finishing works, $45.308 million. So a total of roughly 205. Despite the several financial setbacks experienced in 2016 in the execution and delivery of the projects, the division continued to provide employment for some 2,000 plus workers on the projects. We're going to have a little highlight now as to how it relates to the physical achievements on the projects as they follow. Physical achievements, drainage and irrigation program. We did some gabion basket protection works. That continues along the embankment of the Dial Spring Drain. This project is now 90% complete. Construction of box drains, curb and slipper drain were done at Bon Accord on the Store Bay Local Road and on the Pigeon Point Road. Construction of box drain and box culvert extension were completed at the Bethany Mount Pleasant Road area. Roads and bridges. The Milford Road Bridges under the Roads and Bridges Program, the NITCO, the division's project manager for the reconstruction of 3 Milford Road bridges, completed the designs and tender documents for these bridges and invited tenders for the reconstruction of the Lambeau Bridge in the first instance. Tenders for the bridge were evaluated, and a recommendation for the award of the contract is before the NITCO board for formal approvals. It is expected that by November this month, 2016, the award of the contract will be finalized. So look at some of the areas. In Annisvale-Leketo Road, there was a major upgrade of the Annisvale-Leketo Road, and it continues during this period. The overall completion of this project was about 58%. Other major activities undertaken under the Roads and Bridges program include the installation of traffic lights at the Sherburne Road intersection and Allied Road infrastructure works at a cost of $1.2 million. This project has replaced the construction of a roundabout in that area. The award of $12 million contract for the rehabilitation work of the Windward Road at Hanging Down, Roxborough, to contractors CMAS Limited, which was due to start last month. Major upgrade of the highway from the Mount Mary intersection to Orange Hill Road intersection to provide additional lane for vehicular traffic and improve the pedestrian walkway. This project is approximately 85% complete. The relocation of the traffic signals, construction of a traffic island, and paving are what remains to be completed. The continued refurbishment of the damaged section of Lansome-Charlotteville Road with the construction of retaining walls, box drains, and realigned carriageway. Major improvement works continued on the following 25 secondary roads, which are at various stages of completion at this point. Union Trace is 100% complete. Hoogley Bush Trace, 90% in phase 1. Farm Road, Mason Hall, 90% complete. Palm Drive, Mason Hall, 100% complete. Runnymede Village, Top Hill, Speyside, Pentecostal Church Village, Charlotteville, Richmond Point Road, 100% complete in each case. Zion Hill Road, 95% complete. Bell Garden, Land Development, Breeze Hall, Delaford, 100% complete. King Street, Delaford, 95% complete. Station Hill, Roxborough, 100% complete. Includes the purchase of and installation of 2 Bailey bridges that already occurred. Lamitrace, Argyle, we're mentioning because the persons who have been asking, so in this briefing we get a chance to identify your area. Lamitrace, Argyle, 75% phase 2 complete. Cardiff Road, Pembroke, 50%. Blackman Trace, Delaford, 80%. Majuba Extension in Goodwood, 90% complete. Murray Hall, Pembroke, 100% complete. Morning Glory Road, 100% complete. Riseland, New Providence, in my electoral district, 95% complete. Friendsfield Development, 95%. Smithfield, Retaining Wall, 95%. McKnight Trace, Bonaccord, 75%. And Celestine Avenue, Bonaccord, 75%. The works continue, but we're expecting more updates towards the end of the year. The scope of works done on these roads include the construction of retaining walls, curbs and slippers, box drains, head walls, culverts, gable and basket work, road crossings and widening in some carriageways, and $51.7 million was spent on these projects. Under the Windward Road Special Development Program, the major retaining walls and drainage works were carried out at Delaford, Bell Garden and Speyside. Extensive drainage and upgrade works were done on the Windward Main Road at Blemon. The realignment of the Windward Road at Delaford near the cemetery has commenced and will progress throughout the end of this fiscal. The road resurfacing program of 2016, following the approval of the Executive Council, will commence in April 2016 on the division's road resurfacing program, and the following roads were resurfaced at a cost of $47.6 million. The Windward Road, Speyside section, Windward Road, John Dial to Mount St. George is in progress with a few hiccups with the WASA power pressure testing. Northside Road between Concordia and Easterfield Junction, Bethany Main Road from Booker Junction to Canby Junction, that affects both my electoral district and that of Mr. Dennis. Station Hill Road, Roxborough, Goldsboro, Pig Farm Road, Fort Milford, Crown Point, Kimmy Drive in my electoral district, Mount Irvin, Bethel area. Flats, Mount Grace, streets of Signal Hill, housing development, paving in those areas complete. Burley Heights, Runnymede Village, Channel 5 Road in Signal Hill, major work completed. Streets of Bonaccord, including Mount Pleasant Housing Development Roads. Milford Road, Canaan to 4 Roads, Bonaccord. Riseland, New Providence Road, the paving there is complete, my electoral district. River Road, Plymouth, Pentlands Trace, Stonehaven Development, and Belmar Trace in Buku, that was long overdue, is now complete. Public Buildings Program. Under the Public Building Program, work resumed on the construction of the Charlottesville Mini Mall, where foundation works have been completed. This project is expected to be completed in 2017 at an overall cost of $20.5 million. Outstanding payments include fees were made on the Shore Park Cultural Facility, the Scarborough Library, the Speyside, Lowlands, and Bethesda Community Centers, respectively. Centec was provided with funding in the sum of $1.29 million to install 114 new street lamps and extend the electricity supply to rural areas in Tobago, including Easterfield Road, Cotton Peace, Lekoto, Providence Road, Windows Lot, Leskoto, Caledonia Road, Woodlands, Lamy Road, and Argyle. There are some areas that have benefited, and I'd like to list some of these, again, because persons have been asking. We'd just like to highlight the ones that we are sure about. Belmar Trace received 10 lamps. Hopetoun Road, 3 lamps. King Street, Delaford, 7 lamps. King Bay, Delaford, 5 lamps. Wilson Steps, Speyside, 2 lamps. Upper Roxborough, Bloody Bay, 5 lamps. Palatuvia, Bloody Bay Road, 7 lamps. Bloody Bay Beach Facility Junction, 7 lamps. Charlottesville, 2 lamps. Patience Hill, 6. Orange Hill Trace, 9. Orange Hill Road, 5 lamps. Lambo, 15 lamps. Minimax Drive, 6 lamps. Frenchfield Road development, 14 lamps. Roseau Trace, Blackrock, 5 lamps. That's my electoral district. Canaan Feeder Road, 2 lamps. And Sylvester Trace, Sherwood Park, Canby, 3 lamps, also in my electoral district. There are other electrification programs to come on stream. There is, I think as recently as last week, there was discussion as to more payments to TNTech so that we could continue in other areas that are still dark. But we just want to reassure the public that the Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities, we're working assiduously to ensure that all those darkened corners are well lit towards the end of the year, early in the new 2017.
First and foremost, I'd like to inform the public that on Saturday and Sunday, we received 2 new flights to the destination. For some time now, I would have indicated to you, the members of the public, that we are expecting 2 new arrangements, 2 new flights, one from Munich, Germany, and the other out of Manchester, UK. And so those 2 new flights landed to the destination. Of course, we share those 2 flights with Barbados. Thomas Cook is the airline that would have brought passengers to the destination. And I must remind you that with those 2 flights, Tobago is now more open and accessible to the Germany market as well as to the United Kingdom market as well. One of the strategies that we have tried to employ in the Division of Tourism and Transportation in terms of our marketing efforts is market penetration as much as possible. And so we would have negotiated with those 2 carriers sometime early 2016 to have additional rotations and new flights to the destination. Based on the conversations that we have had with the Thomas Cook and Condor representatives while we were at the World Travel Market, they have indicated to us that those 2 flights are selling well, and we in the Division of Tourism and Transportation, along with our international representatives, are working to ensure that the marketing is one that will ensure that many persons as possible board those flights to come to destination Tobago. And we have the opportunity to market in the Bavaria areas, which includes and comprises Austria, Switzerland, Germany, Czech Republic, and Czech Republic, so to speak. And we know that Thomas Cook and even Condor, they have excellent network connections in those areas. And we also anticipate that some traffic will be driven from the Scandinavian markets as well into destination Tobago. So there are 2 new flights to the destination. One came in on Saturday, one came in on Sunday, and there will be weekly flights to the destination for the winter period. We will be having a meeting with the chairman of the Caribbean Airlines Board, Mr. Ronnie Mohammed. That meeting will include the Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly, Mr. Orville London, the chairman, as well as myself as secretary with responsibilities for tourism and transportation. A new board means a new opportunity for the destination. And coming out from this standing committee meeting that was held here in Tobago sometime in October, the Prime Minister would have given a mandate which would include revisiting of the objectives and even the vision of Caribbean Airlines Board. And so we are heartened by that mandate, and we are hoping that coming out of this dispensation, coming out of the arrangement, that we will see a new focus, a new energy being placed on Tobago with respect to our international connections and with respect to treating with the domestic air bridge in a particular way. We intend to put on the table 2 major points in terms of the vision and the achievement of the objectives. One, we want to drive home the point of the concept of profit generation or profit for Caribbean Airlines. And most of the times when Caribbean Airlines speaks, they speak to profit in the strictest sense in terms of revenue generation solely to Caribbean Airlines as a company. And so we want to put forward the view that profit should also take into consideration the contribution to the Tobago economy. If you look at airlines that are funded by the state across the Caribbean, so to speak, you will observe that one of their major objectives is to drive traffic throughout the Caribbean countries in a particular way. And so perhaps if that is the objective of Caribbean Airlines going forward, we can see them treating with international airlift to the destination as well as the management of the domestic air bridge in a different way. And so the concept of profit must be carefully explored. We are saying that it should not be looked at solely in terms of the revenues that go directly into Caribbean Airlines, but the contribution that bringing passengers to the destinations, and when I say destinations, I'm talking here about Tobago and Trinidad, can make to the destination, so to speak. Also, we are putting forward at the meeting today that there has to be a focus away from VFRs, which is visiting relatives and family, or basically diaspora group, and the business traffic, to one that focuses to a large extent on the leisure market. Because when we look at the Tobago situation, we are in fact selling leisure. We are neither in business nor are we solely into bringing the diaspora group to Tobago. We want to ensure that we can have packages just as we have with British Airways and Virgin and Thomas Cook and Condor, so to speak. And so we are putting forward today that Caribbean Airlines need to take on board an approach that says that the leisure market is also a worthy market for the destination, so to speak. And if we are able to carry home those 2 points of treating with the concept of profit differently and also focusing on the leisure market, we believe that that can impact the situation in Tobago with regards to the domestic and international arrivals. In terms of the specifics for domestic, we are also looking at a separate management system for the domestic air bridge. Of course, you know that is critical. When a state invests in a particular activity, we look at it as an essential service. And so we are saying that the domestic air bridge can also be seen or should also be seen as an essential service, just as we see the public service corporation and even the ferry services for between Trinidad and Tobago. And so we are putting forward also that they should be, the domestic air bridge should be delinked from the other operations of Caribbean Airlines. The reservation system is also critical. We want a reservation system that cancels out bookings when people have not traveled, so that we can free up room for the persons who would want to travel between Trinidad and Tobago, because we have seen the demand for travel, especially on the weekend, but we have not yet found a system that can treat with that demand as much as possible and can capture the information that tells us what really are the numbers of persons who would want to travel between the destination. In terms of the international matters, we are seeking additional airlift to the destination from different source markets. When I just come into the Division of Tourism and Transportation, we had a flight from the Scandinavian countries, Stockholm, Denmark, Copenhagen, so to speak. That flight would come in with 98-99% load factors. But unfortunately, we lost the flight. It had nothing to do with the destination. It had to do with the strategy of the company. We feel that we know rather that there is a market there for destination Tobago. And so so we want to put on the table at this meeting today that there be consideration for a flight, a connection between Tobago as well as the Scandinavian market. We are looking at a twice-weekly service from JFK, John F. Kennedy. Our research tells us that the North Americans travel for a 4 to 5 day stay. Unlike the Europeans, they travel for about a 10 to 12 day stay. Currently, we have once per week service from JFK to Tobago. That is on a Sunday. And so we are looking now for an additional service that gives the option of 4 to 5 day stay for the American visitor as well. Twice weekly service from Barbados will allow for international connections from major airlines that do not now service the destination. All of us would know that Barbados represents one of the Caribbean hubs. They have more flights because, of course, they have a variety of product offering in Barbados, and we feel that we can drive traffic through to Barbados, through to those connections to destination Tobago. So we are asking for that service as well as to open up the Caribbean market to destination Tobago, because we have been seeing some increases from those persons who are coming regionally, and we believe that there is a market there for us. And then we are also putting on the table a once weekly flight from Toronto to destination Tobago as well. We want to open up access to the North American market, Toronto included, and so we are putting that on the table as well. As well as Caribbean Airlines should also look at other code sharing opportunities with other international carriers so that they can expand their connectivity and expand their reach across the US, across the North American and even the UK market. If they're able to do that, I am sure we can see significant increases in passenger arrivals to the destination. This is something that is really long-term in nature, but with the discussions now on sandals coming to Tobago and providing excellent opportunities, I am sure that this is something that Caribbean Airlines would really want to pursue going forward, because it allows them also to benefit from sandals coming to the destination. So at 3 o'clock this evening, the Chief Secretary and myself will lead. Well, the Chief Secretary will lead the discussions, and these are some of the matters that we will raise at that meeting. Because, of course, the Trinidad market is very important to us, and we want to ensure we have predictability and consistency as much as possible, and we want to open up Tobago to the rest of the world, the European market, as well as the North American market. And we have our own national carrier. They have not really been servicing us as effectively as we'd want, especially in terms of international connections. I'm really pleased that the Prime Minister would have given that mandate, that they are to take into consideration the situation as it pertains to Tobago. I also want to mention that we have had a successful world travel market. There was a team from the Division of Tourism and Transportation as well as the Tourism Development Company, TDC, along with stakeholders who would have journeyed to London to be a part of the annual World Travel Market, where, of course, 80 countries come together to sell services, to sell their destination to the UK market. Because when you do the research, you would recognize that the UK market is a significant source market for most destinations across the world. And so it is intense competition, but we go there because we want to ensure that Tobago is well represented, that the message that Tobago continues to be the capital of paradise, warm weather destination, having excellent physical physical amenities and beauties, and that Tobago remain in the minds of the UK passengers is all achieved. And so there we got information in terms of the trends, what is happening in UK, what is happening in the rest of the world with regards to tourism and travel, and also to get our own understanding of where Tobago is at, right, in terms of the image, how people see the destination Tobago in the market. Of course, we have quite a lot of uncertainties taking place in the world today. We have the Brexit, which all of you know. We have had a weakening of the pound, and so we expect that, those will affect travel in one way or the other. But I'm pleased with the discussions that we have had with some of the airlines. We are having some challenges, but in terms of British Airways and even in terms of Thomas Cook and Condor, they are reporting increases in terms of the number of persons that are booking to the destination. There are one or two carriers who would have reported some challenges, and we are yet to receive that report. And when we have received that report, we are going to call in some of the stakeholders to indicate what some of the challenges are as reported by the tour operators and even the airlines, so to speak. I also want to mention that I've been hearing quite a lot in terms of the occupancy rates on island at this point. I just want to say that it is the Division of Tourism and Transportation who will do the compiling of information in collaboration with the hotels in terms of what the current occupancy rates are. There is a system that they use, a filling out of application forms, etc. And when that is compiled, information is then passed on to the associations, including the THTA. The information that I have within the Division of Tourism and Transportation tells me that we have occupancy rates up to August 2016, and those have averaged at 50%. And so I'm hearing now all sorts in terms of single-digit figures. I want to say that the Division of Tourism and Transportation at this time does not have that information. Up to August, it's 50%, and we are awaiting the reports for the month of September, October, and we are in the month of November. So we are awaiting that. In terms of the international visitor spend, based on the research information in the Division of Tourism and Transportation, it is estimated at US $207 per day for a 12-day stay on island. And these are not information that we just pull out of a hat. We have our visitor surveys that are done. We have exit surveys where our members of staff who are recruited by the division through a particular process would go to the airport, they will go to the ports of entry, they will give out different forms which will elicit different views from those who have come and are going back from the destination. And so these are the figures that we have. I am really calling on the stakeholder groupings to continue to collaborate with the Division of Tourism and Transportation. Since coming into the Division of Tourism and Transport, we have seen an increase in terms of marketing spend for the destination. I have seen as well, we have worked towards ensuring that we have more flights to the destination. When I came in, we had one rotation from British Airways. We now have two rotations. When I came in, Virgin Airways had just left. Virgin is now back. We have two weekly flights from Virgin. We had Gull. Unfortunately, we had to end the contract with Gull, but to my mind, it represented an excellent opportunity for the destination into the South American market. We have Condor out of Germany from Frankfurt, and we now have two additional rotations to the destination, one from Munich and the other from Manchester. And so we have sufficient flights, we have sufficient seats to the destination. The challenge is the stakeholders must work hand in hand and collaboratively with the Division of Tourism and Transportation to come up with a plan of approach that says you need to go out there and ensure that you sell your property, you market your property to get persons to come to the destination. One of the things that we have been talking to them about is accessing the monies that are available within the TDC at this point in time. In coming in to the Division of Tourism and Transportation, there was endless noise about room upgrade program that Tobago was not benefiting from. Minister Shamfa Kadru and I work towards ensuring that Tobago can benefit from that, and we are now talking to the stakeholders. We are now talking to the properties, encouraging them to apply for that funding to upgrade their properties as much as possible.
Thank you for staying with us for the Tobago House of Assembly's Post-Executive Council Media Briefing for the week ending November 19th, 2016.